and the people are upside down. That's a quick fix. There you go. Oh, maybe I should have, yeah.
Used to.
Perfect.
We don't mind.
Perfect, yeah.
We really have to do.
Yeah.
The biggest heartbreak of every meeting was wondering if this was gonna work, and 9 times out of 10 it did. Now it's been flawless.
This is
Not much.
4 in a row.
and it tells you.
Notes on the.
What you can test it. And I don't think that's right.
I called Erica at 10:56. She's gonna do the meals for the ground.
Are we gonna do it like that with the bottle boxes?
That's what I told. I said, I don't even know what you had in them, but I said, it sounded like the herb. I said, if you're interested in doing it, I said, let me know. She's
Yeah.
like, I'll put it on the calendar, and she gave me.
Right. The state's gotta do it.
RSVP numbers.
DNR's not gonna let us
Originally,
claim it either.
Some sandwiches, which she didn't put nothing on but meat and cheese, just people.
I was gonna print it off.
She sent like mustard,
I don't know.
bag of chips. She's
I know,
suggested
yeah.
macaroni salad, I chose
That's what
potato
you're talking
salad,
about.
but it's a lot more involved. So, and a bottle of water, but we brought the water, so she swapped out the price of making the homemade potato salad for the water.
Okay,
so-
because we were talking about getting water too.
So,
I printed out a whole thing on how to host the groundbreaking and, things like make sure we bring trash bags and, I've got a
I
whole.
have a question.
Yeah, I do have one.
I don't think we have to do anything till it's absolute.
How about Sandy?
After we got stuff years ago.
Some other.
we have to do it for us because there's nothing there. You bring everything.
Yeah.
And you take it,
Right.
So, but I mean, she'll put the water in if you want.
Well, we already talked about, I've got plenty of coolers, and I thought I'll just donate the water.
Percent
you know.
Making water?
and set
Did you say
aside.
making
another
water?
No, I'll bring the water.
Oh, okay.
To hire a part-time beach.
I'll just bring the coolers and, fill with ice and put some water in there and just have water. I don't think we need anything else.
There.
We had a great
We don't
big
need anybody over there. That's
spigot.
How do you get anybody in there?
Spigot.
a big jug and a spigot.
Oh, okay. I've got one of those. I've got a 5-gallon carboy. It's that big and
I can't carry it.
Yep,
I can't.
We can back up to it, right?
Well, and it's glass too.
that's how it's supposed to be done.
I
First, I
actually
think it
have,
was
I have
glass.
the plastic ones that we use when we're in Arizona. And it has a hose you put down on the top of that.
That's how
plastic,
hers
And
was.
it's got the button, battery operated.
That's how hers is.
But then you have to have cups.
Well, they're throwawayable though. You don't
Yeah.
have all those bottles and
What did you use to drink on it?
little paper cups.
Paper cups? No, they were plastic.
Oh, plastic, whatever. Yeah,
If
until
I
I,
knew, I guess it's kind of a wash because
yeah, till I went to get water and the battery died.
boy, I tell you, there's just so many people attending this meeting tonight. I don't think we had a crowd this small ever, have we?
Well, Terry Bowser's laid up.
Was he later?
January, February.
Knee
would be-
replacement.
In the wintertime.
She gets him in the golf, she gets him in the golf cart.
So.
Ham's in the hospital.
What's wrong with him?
Well, they originally thought kidney stones, but now it's liver, cirrhosis of the liver. She never drank in her life. I mean, it's kind of like lung cancer and never smoking, one of those freak things, so
Man, I hate to hear that.
he was hoping she got out today or tomorrow. Just gonna try to control it with diet and
Wow.
but really thinks
Is,
that it'll be a liver transplant list,
Oh, my God.
but they don't really know, any for sure. Like I said, it's just She's been in there like 10 days. They've had to just drain fluid, liquid fluid.
Equipment.
For the rentals or for the piers themselves,
Or the piers themselves.
should be on a fixed asset list under equipment.
Who was that guy?
Fixed asset list, because we don't
The
have.
guy that was
equipment,
here.
Supposedly,
The city had to go down
that's
to
another
me.
thing I'm not really a fan of.
Yeah, he looks familiar, but I don't know who he was.
The pier should all be glazed.
I don't know.
I'm thinking it's my guy that
I thought you knew.
works for the county. They've got that lives on the tractor behind.
Oh, that Mo's?
It's in Ulster County. I'm sure that's him.
Yeah, this is like a January meeting.
Yeah.
I said it's almost eerie that there's no one here.
Your boy.
Here they are now.
Yeah.
I can't remember, what was it, when the piers were going on and.
Well, the mayor's in Hawaii.
Yeah, that's right, he's gone too.
Who's the mayor?
Rick Yover.
Oh,
Rick
Rick,
House Lake.
Rick.
And he's texted me about 4 times today
Oh,
over
yeah.
this meeting. Anything exciting happening? Sorry, I'm gonna miss it. Good luck tonight.
Oh, my God.
He's dying because he has to
Yeah.
miss it.
Here, where does this go?
It fell out of something. There.
Just maybe put it back on the table.
Like I said, I just hate that when something new, I picked up the remotes and it went, and I go, don't tell me now there's a key. You need this tonight, Dick? Dick, you need this tonight?
No, I'm good.
Hi,
Hey, it's like one of those things off our computer.
hey, maybe we can use it for that.
Time to rock and roll.
Yeah, call the meeting to order.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We had the meeting, the minutes from the meeting of May 1, 2024, and then there a special session on May 14th, 2024. I believe those were online. Did anybody have any questions or comments about any of those corrections or anything? If not, is there a motion to accept those?
I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. Next on the agenda is the 2025 budget.
So Kathy and Tom and I met and we went through the budget, which I believe 23 and 24 has just kind of been the same. We haven't showed, any increase in income, so they just basically left it. What they did was they did move some of the buckets around to put like more money in part-time help. They took some out of, I think, repair and maintenance to put into there. When we went to the actual budget meeting with the council, they kind of finagled things around. So this year we are going to show, and on this page, on the back, it kind of showed all of our totals for the year so far. And where it says underneath that, where it says to yet to come, down here at the bottom where I wrote. Those are kind of things we had to estimate, because when we do the budget, a lot of our income isn't even in yet. So like under seasonal, there's 16,500 yet to come. Campers, which are weekend campers and tent campers, kind of just went off of last year. At the time we did this, there was 5,700 worth of boat slip payments to come. 16,000 is kind of what we made at the gate last year. And on and on and on. So we came up with, we will have an extra $37,845 this year, as opposed to what they allotted us last year, or allocated us, I should say. So on this sheet is what we turned in to Rachel. That will go to the council. And I put on the side there, I showed you guys where we were increasing and decreasing things, where we felt the increases and decreases needed to be.
Was some of that was from the experience that you gained from last year too, right? Showing where they had to move monies around.
Yes, we added to like where they took out of, repair and maintenance. We needed more money in there, so we took some of the 37,000 and added to that. Or equipment, we took the extra 37,000 that we'll make this year and put in the buckets that we felt we were gonna be low on this year.
When is the budget due?
I already turned it in to Rachel, they go over it, and then it's in July that you get called to the council.
When was it turned into Rachel?
Last Wednesday, is that when you and I met?
I think so,
And I said if she had any questions to let me know or anything, but she probably hasn't even had a chance to look at it yet.
So my question would be, why didn't the board members get a copy of that? Because I'm not comfortable coming in here with 15 minutes to look at a budget that's gonna be for the whole year. I think it's something that we should have had prior
So
to.
for that, at the last meeting, we decided one or two of the members were going to meet for the budget session, because we couldn't have everybody without calling a special
Right.
session, and these two volunteered, so that's who came and went over it.
I understand that, and I'm fine with that. Because I think a board should be active on the budget, but I also feel that having a budget put in front of me 15 minutes before we have to vote on it isn't doing our due diligence by going back and checking everything and referencing and even talking about potential increases in fees or decreases in fees or anything like that. I just feel that we should have more time to look at it other than just 15 minutes.
Well, I have to agree, we probably should have done that, and I don't think I think we could table the approval till our next meeting, because I know they won't be meeting before the second Tuesday in July.
I'd be
And if
good
there
with
needs
that.
to be any adjustments at that meeting, then we can make them at our July meeting, and then we can let Rachel know that we need to make a few adjustments because of the delay in the board thing. I don't.
I'm perfect
see-
with that.
Yeah, and I think the reason why it was turned in is because there was a specific deadline to get it in by. As opposed to approved by the council.
I understand, but we got,
No, I get what you're saying.
yeah, I mean, when did we get our minutes and agenda and stuff like that? I mean, it could have been out the same.
Yes, everything should be, and you're right about that. Tom and I did sit down, and so we're pretty knowledgeable, about what she did in that, but that still doesn't negate the responsibility of the other board members to have, because we
Sure.
gotta vote on it, so. I'm okay with that. I don't think that'd be a problem.
No, I guess we whatever should have, maybe
Yeah.
emailed it to them.
Yeah, probably.
When we
could,
got done.
And I probably should have mentioned that, so.
Yeah, that's on me too.
Okay, so. Is there a motion to table the budget?
I mean, if something, if this is June, our next meeting, if they would schedule it before that or something, we can get together and
if we needed to have a special meeting. you
I'll make that
Yeah,
motion
right.
that we table this till the next meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Alright. Very
Hey,
good.
Dick. Hey, Dick.
Next thing is the English
Dick?
Lake kayak project. That's it.
It's getting exciting. Bids go out tomorrow. The 11th, yeah. So, anyway, they go out Thursday. Rachel's office is taking care of all the sealed bids for the English Lake project. There will be a pre-bid meeting here on the 26th at 9:30 in the morning, where I guess some of the interested bidders will be here to have any questions answered regarding the specs on the bid. Kathy and I have been working on a groundbreaking ceremony, so I'm going to ask the four of you to please save the date of July the 10th at 11:30 to be out at the English Lake site where we're going to do the golden shovel groundbreaking. Invitations are being sent out now, and we're
What
going to have a
What time?
11:30.
And what day of the week is it?
It's a Wednesday. Much to be proud of on that.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
That's pretty much it, other than we're going to get all the invitations out to the people that were supportive of the project. I think I totaled up 40 people that will be invited. So we'll see, hopefully we'll have a great turnout, great weather, we'll have box lunches provided.
How are the invites going out? Is that email? Do we have all the emails?
We're actually, Kathy and I are working on some formal email or formal invitations to mail to certain
yeah, this
people.
is a draft that I was working on based on a conversation that Angelina, and basically I'm trying to get it so I can print it on cardstock and then just cut it into 4 squares that, so it will fit into this invitation envelope.
Okay.
But for us, we're not gonna spend the stamps.
No, we're not gonna be invited, but we're gonna do email to a lot of them.
Yeah, to a lot.
Just to reduce
the-
that cost.
The special ones like Scott Peloff and Bill Crace and Bob Lloyd.
Bob and Lloyd,
The
they're gonna have a
Community
shovel.
Foundation, you know, people
So
that
we
we
need
need
you there.
some money for that.
We need you there, so you're gonna have a golden shovel.
I ordered the shovels, I'm gonna donate.
And I'm donating
Seven,
propane.
$7.49 or $7.99 a shovel at Smith's Tractor Supply. They got blue shovels, but I also bought two cans of gold.
So I thought I was getting the paint.
Oh,
You already did it?
Yeah, I already did, so
Okay, well, if we need more,
I gotta go pick up the shovels after we get off of here if I remember, so.
okay.
All right, very good. Swim ropes at the beach.
You wanna pass that?
Yes.
That's the one from Culver.
I think I have mentioned to many of you, I don't know, maybe I did not, but Les Jensen, who is, had previously been the fire chief at Bass Lake, and, he's still on the fire department, called me. He was concerned that the swim ropes, I think that's Culver, by the way, that's
Culver,
Culver
yeah.
Beach, not our beach, that they were too close to the end of the pier. And I think the biggest problem was that they were just on floats and the line kept drifting back and forth. And then someone went and augered it down and tightened it up so it can't really drift.
Carried it out, so it's not gonna go near the boating area.
But I did look at the, to see if there was an Indiana code on it, and there is not. Or at least I should say I did not find one. And Les, I did talk to him again this afternoon, and he felt that if there was 40 feet between,
Yeah, and when I went out, cause I saw the picture initially too,
Yeah.
so I went out that same day and kind of looked at the, you know, from that corner of the pier. And it seemed to me to be at least 30 to 40
I
feet
moved
away.
them further south.
Well, I don't know, they didn't look that bad on the day I went out.
And I did move them a little bit further south,
Okay, well, that can't hurt.
and I tightened them up so they can't float into the boating area.
Okay.
I put there's augers at each end now.
Yeah,
Just depending on how the wind was blowing, whether the rope was closed.
There was one auger in the middle. wasn't there?
They were tied to the buoys, and the buoys moved.
And I,
the picture that I saw was kind of deceiving.
Yeah, what I'm saying is the buoys were what hold the rope.
Right.
The buoys were moving, so very some
buoys-
auger there so that will stay nice and
I
tight.
did the whole down.
So we're good now?
We're good on that end.
I
well,
think
Les
we were
is
good then,
on
but
the call.
I think we were good then, but it's better now.
Or is
Yeah, he's on there.
Can they talk?
I don't know
I
how
think that
to, how do I unmute them? It gives me a hand.
Well, click it, see if it
You have
works.
to turn it on the wall.
What's it say in the right corner? There you go. You should be open. Les, can you hear us?
Yeah.
I'd say he can hear us, but he probably can't talk.
Hey, can you guys hear me? I
Yeah,
can hear you,
probably
Les.
muted on his end.
But we're unmuted or?
Les,
should
can
be
you hear
live.
me? Yeah, I can
Doesn't
hear
say
you,
we're
Dave.
muted.
They don't have this wall switch on, I'm sure. I texted Kathy.
He was muted, it has a little bit.
Cause I can hit the button to
We're
mute.
not muted. Yeah. We're not muted. They just don't have that switch on. Oh.
Wonder if that, but when we turn that thing on, then there's feedback.
I think Dave is on here.
Yeah, Dave's on there also.
And I think he's trying to email me, but I can't get my.
But I was over at Culver
Is the
and,
wall switch on? Dave wants to know.
Is the wall switch on?
No.
That's probably why.
I thought that's when we got feedback. I was just at Culver one day and kind of,
I know.
Can you hear us now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was at Culver one day and went to their beach area and that's where that picture comes in there.
Good idea, because if you don't like what you're seeing, turn it back up.
I was at Culver one day and was at their beach area and looked at their boats. And their swim area, that's what that picture is. And those boats all have to back out and go out. And they're really pretty close
And that
to their
looks
swim
closer
area.
actually than what I saw.
And they don't have swim ropes, they just have like a ball here and there.
Okay. Well, we think we're okay with where the swim ropes are now.
Yes,
After augering them down.
Right.
they put one more auger in, we had one at the beach, then one in the middle, and then he put one at Gary put one at the end.
Did you hear that, Les?
Yeah, like I said, my concern was having enough room if you got a boat coming and going at the same time. I mean, most pontoons are almost 8 foot wide. You know,
Yeah.
I'd rather see more room than not enough and they crowd each other or, you know, and the kids are gonna hang tight to that swim rope. They do every time I've been in there and seen them.
Yeah, I agree, Les. This is, when I went out and looked, it kind of looked like, at least maybe the wind was blowing the other way then, it looked like it was at least 30 or 40 feet.
Yeah.
Did you look at
Yeah,
it?
like I said, I pulled tape measures on it one day.
He said
It
the
was
picture
11
to me
foot
and I
and 6
sent it to
inches
him.
from the one boat. If you pulled the swim rope that way, and then the other way, it was 60 foot. There was just so much.
Yeah, it's been tight.
There's no more play, you can't pull it over anymore towards the dock.
Have you looked at it recently, Les?
No, I have not.
Okay. Well, we think it's okay now, but if you look at it and you think there's a problem, you can bring that back up, okay?
Okay, not a problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next thing I have is beach erosion rock issue.
Oh, me and him again. I was just having casual conversation with a lady from the lake about some things that I was interested in seeing done at the beach, you know, and that was part of my agenda for wanting to be on the board, and one of them was rehabbing that area, cleaning it up and making a little learning center for kids, you know, about habitats and wildlife for tadpoles and whatever is in those little ponds, and rebuilding that bridge and cleaning that up, and then putting signs around there to, you know, educational signs for the kids. And I said, I think that'd really be nice. And she said, you need to shore up the trees first. And that's why I thought we did that. Well, we had a DNR permit and I was on the board at the time, which was done by
Rick Anderson.
Rick Anderson. And he did all the drawings and everything, and he wrote the permit. We got a approval from the DNR to shore up those tree branches and around the beach house. Well, then we got rocks. I wrote a grant for Arrowhead to get rocks, the glacial stone that they require, and they just piled them up on the beach, and then they got put. The job wasn't completed, basically. There's still trees that need to be shored up, and there's still trees, because part of that required the plan was to put some more trees down to help shore up that shoreline, so to prevent the erosion. So the permit has expired. So we went down there and met with Rick Anderson and Stephen and Lucas, because Stephen worked for the DNR sort of, I guess, or he has some experience with them. And they suggested that we start with a letter to the DNR and ask them if they would extend the permit, even though it's expired. You know, we had COVID, we had change of a couple of blah, blah, blah. So I was going to write a letter for your signature tonight, but I'm the queen of procrastination. I didn't get it done. So I would like to write a letter, you know, asking for permission to do that and drop it by your office for signature, if that's okay with you, Dick, and then get that sent off to them and try to get that project revived. And there was a lady, Kathy Carrier, who is from the lake. She has her a foundation that she and her husband started, and she's committed to providing some finances towards that to get that finished. As well as I think we can go back to Arrowhead, and Phil Woolery was there as well. He's the specialist in kind of the trees and that. And he suggested soil and water, that they had some money too. So, but the first step is to get the permit going. So if they won't extend it, then what do we have to do to get a new one? So.
And I think Kathy was also really involved in that healthy shoreline project.
Yes, she
recently,
was,
so.
yes. So, I will, I promise to write the letter. Every time I kept thinking, I thought, oh, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow.
So you
but I
need a
will get-
motion, have her write the letter and you sign it, or?
I don't,
I don't need
I
one.
don't think so, but,
Okay,
okay.
Yeah, I'd rather Dick signed it as the president.
well, no, I didn't say I would, I say, does he need a motion to? have
Oh,
her sign it?
no, I don't think
I
so.
don't
Yeah,
think
yeah. I'll just drop it by your office, and then when
Okay.
you sign it, then I'll email it, I think, to the DNR with you copied on it, or all the board members shall copy all the board members. So
That sounds fine.
sorry about that.
Okay. Picnic table donations project, that's
Well, right now, we've had a lot of pledges. We got a call today from a lady that donated another 20 tables. So our projected table requirement, just to get to where we would be comfortable, would be 70. If everyone comes through and pays and follows through with their pledge, we are at 52 right now. Tracy went and got the form from the VFW, but she wants to hold off on that until we find out if we meet that goal outside of the VFW, in case she wants to use the VFW for another project.
Well, reason being is we only need 70 tables. We can't just keep taking money for 90 because we can't store the lumber, we can't make the picnic tables and let them just rot for years till we need them. We just counted and this is the number we have to have, so.
So that was your minimum number, except.
No, that was maximum number.
Maximum.
But on the list that I have, you said, but you may need more for the seasonal campers. So I was thinking maybe
I
75.
went around and I counted each seasonal site that had a wooden picnic table. And there was 33 of them, I believe, that I counted. A lot of the seasonal, half of them have their own table, a different table, a resin table, something. But if a regular seasonal would move out that had a resin table and we got a new seasonal in, they would need a picnic table.
But I just don't see taking the money and building them and letting them sit and store them and.
I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying, right now we're at 52 to hit the magic number of 70.
So the only reason I didn't ask the VFW yet is their next meeting is July 6th, I believe, Carl.
Yep.
We have a while yet. Now, if we haven't hit it and got all the money by then, we will present that, but I didn't want to.
You want to save a little race in your pocket.
Do you get what I'm saying? I didn't want to put a bunch in there.
Yeah, I got you.
And we had time to see how many don't donate. If we get to 70, then we can ask them down the line for, something.
How many actual tables do you have so far?
Well,
Well, okay. But you got.
made, that are made.
Yeah, but you got people that have.
Well, we have one check. So far,
No, I took 2 payments today.
3.
Then 3, we've had 3 payments. The lady that I spoke to that donated the 20 is putting the check in the mail today. I've no reason to believe that she's not going to get through.
I did not count that.
So, like I said, where we have as far as pledges and commitments, we're at 52 tables. So
We have a lot-
that's really, really good so far.
Right, we have a lot of people, I'll do it, but we haven't seen,
The money.
right,
Well, and the pews that donated the first 20 had given me several of those names, and she messaged me today, because I put something out on Facebook, and hey, you guys have pledged them, show me the money. She called them and said, hey, you said you were gonna do this, and they called me and paid for it, so her little nudge was very helpful.
Good.
So, you know, I've made phone calls, but I can't chase these people down, it's a pledge, it's a donation.
So on the 20 people, or the lady that don't pledge 20, are we not saying her name or?
Her name is Barbara Kint, Kindt. I don't know her. She just made a comment that she and her husband are very supportive of any beautification project that goes on in Starke County, and she very much likes the Bass Lake Beach and Campground. So I thought that was pretty.
so with her 20 and Pew's 20, that's
This one
40.
is 40, like I said, and then the other committed ones were at 52 total. So we started this project a month ago. I don't think that's bad. Well, the 20 and 20 helped a lot.
Mr. Pugh has been delivering 5 at a time. I've been helping him on road and placing them. My husband and I place them where they need to be. He's gonna be delivering the next 5. He was out of town. He's gonna make them the 16th, 17th. Deliver 5 more approximately on the 18th, so that'll really help. I'll have the whole weekend spots, all have new picnic tables. The tent area will have, I'm just waiting, I need 1 more for the tent area. And now I'll take the next 4 over to the North Pavilion, because we rent that out a lot. And we've burned a lot of the old rotted ones with the bolts in them. But when I get this next batch, I'll take 4 over, and now I'll be able to take some of those good ones. Well, they're not the greatest.
Better.
They're better. I'll be able to put those along the beach, you know, for more speedy. So it's working out pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
Did any of the folks that donated request a head look? Cause I know you had offered the little placards to be able to put on the table.
The option is in memory of, if they want to do a table in memory of a family member or whatever, and the other is donated by.
And then we'll provide those.
Yes, and
Yes,
So has everybody chosen one of those options?
well, they're still coming up with their list, like some of them have, but not everybody.
Okay,
Good.
so as far as tax deductions, have you checked with the auditor's office about what we need to do to give them tax deductions for that or?
Well, they've already, see, everything is coming, oh, you mean to them for
Yeah, for their
their
donation.
donation. I can certainly ask Rachel.
Yeah, I would ask Rachel about that and I would offer that to them because I think anything over $100, which these tables are, when they're the cost of them, you know, that would be a tax deduction that they choose to make.
Yeah, I'll definitely.
And I also think that the board ought to send, especially Mr. and Mrs. Pugh and Miss Kent. Well, probably all of them, but when they give you 20.
right, when they're
tables,
completed,
yeah.
And the
absolutely.
pews are building them and delivering them. I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty.
And the pews do not want plaques.
They don't even want
They don't want
recognition.
They do not want
Yeah, you
recognition.
can send them a thank you. or
Well, we
something.
definitely
Well, once it's done, they're done and yeah.
I think the board members need to.
sign
a
something.
card Or sign something or write a letter and thank them and.
Great.
Is that something we can also advertise the sale of those things on our Facebook or website or whatever? And thank the ones that have?
I've been doing that, Carl, on our Facebook page.
Okay,
Okay,
Once we get the money, you know, we can
Right.
just
Yep.
think commitments.
all right, the next thing is harbor master position consideration.
Okay, the only reason that this is on the agenda, Tracy and I talked a little bit and she suggested I bring it to the board. I'm basically not asking for anything other than an opportunity for, like, Gary has been very instrumental in being there. Tom, Gary and myself worked diligently to get all the spots assigned based on the customer's needs, and we got that done, but it has been an ongoing project, just trying to get the new boards put down, people getting moved around, people coming off their lifts. The one guy just really challenged Gary, like, how dare you? Who do you think you are? Do you work for the county? Gary's got the knowledge that I don't, when the customers are coming to me saying, you know, what's the best way for me to auger, what's the best way for me to hook onto my shore station? He's been able to provide that, not to mention go out and tie them up. All I'm recommending is, it basically is no different than like Bev's position, where she is not compensated, but she gets her rent free. It's like the memorandum of understanding that Justin wrote up for people to have a position like that. At least he's got a little teeth behind him saying, yes, I work for the county. It's not to be a paid position by any shape or fashion. But like right now, even Gary can't use our tools. He's got to use his own tools when he's out fixing the dock because he's not an employee. So it's basically another position, like I said, where he would get his lot rent for his boat in exchange for, and that's what this memorandum of understanding is that Justin wrote up. He can be able to say, look, I have the authority to tell you your boat's not tied properly, or you've got to make a change. And he's out there all the time to do it. I'm just asking for consideration to give him that opportunity to represent us.
He can use our tools, and I talked to Rachel about that. She said just not like when we have the county corrections or prisoners, they can't use heavy equipment. They can use a push mower, weed whacker and stuff like that.
Let's go into a little bit of the history of that position, harbor master. I mean, it didn't even exist before that first year that
You started it.
and I jumped in that first summer and tried to arrange, because no one would, I mean, it was a nightmare out there. So as the years have gone on, and then Gary started getting involved, he asked if he could help with the harbor master position that the board assigned me to. I said, sure, all the help I could get, I'll take, but it has always been a volunteer position. And I think some of the volunteers get paid with part of their boat slips, a reduction in that cost for the boat slip, right? I mean, that's
Correct.
Well,
It's
some,
on
I mean,
today, right?
he's the only one that's out there doing it, and nothing, I know that you were very instrumental, but you've not been able to be out there, and I understand that. He has a boat there, so consequently, he's there all the time.
Wow.
So all I'm asking is to get a little teeth behind the position.
I agree this year, Gary's put in a lot of effort repairing boards and things like
We're
that.
just dealing
I
with
disagree that I haven't been out there, because
I've seen as much.
Well,
And it's nothing against you, Tom. It's no,
all I'm saying is, it looks like we're kind of trying to move this from a volunteer position to something different. And if that's what the board wants to do, that's up to the board.
but he's already being compensated with half of his boat slip, like that is with the lot rent,
Right.
is that. It's not like he's gonna go start charging money to the county and get a paycheck. That's not what
You
this is
asked
about.
for a paid position when you talked to me.
No,
You said 5 or 10 hours a week.
I'm saying over, if he were to go over, and that's the example I put on here was if he were to. Gary, why don't you speak for this? Because
I think the biggest thing is to get power from the board to tell people what they can and can't do.
Well, and maybe that's my fault, because I thought that after they gave you that role to take that on, and you asked if you could help, I agreed for you to be able to help and kind of co-harbor master. I thought that was enough. I didn't think we had to do any more than that, saying that someone from the board gave you authority as well to help me do that.
Well, when people say to me, who are you to tell me to do this?
I thought that
What do
only-
I tell them?
I thought that just happened that one time this spring.
You tell them that you are a volunteer and you work under Tracy, and she gives you the authority to tell people what they're doing
Well,
wrong.
honestly, I think we should take the volunteer part out of it.
that's not gonna fly with these people.
Yes.
I think we ought to pay him,
Yes.
and I think he ought to have a card issued by the county that's got his name on it and gives him that authority.
I mean, if.
So he can show it and say, here's, who are you? Well, here's why.
God, he's protecting that asset out there by watching it and fixing boards.
That's why I'm saying, he
We
needs
want
something
invested in it
physical
here,
to
so we
show
want to
them if
keep
somebody
that.
demands
I'm
that.
not looking for a paycheck or anything. I did this as a volunteer.
Right.
But if you want to keep your peers without being damaged, somebody's gotta be out there.
Correct.
And not all the time. I'm not gonna This isn't me, I'm not going out there to babysit all weekend long.
Right, because a paid position would be a set schedule
But I'm out
and
there
hours.
4 days a week.
That's why I can talk with this was, at least in my view, was
No,
kind
I
of.
never seen that.
Kind of, because right now, going forward, most of the people already have their boats. But the only thing you gotta do is go see if there's any broken boards or whether anybody's broke loose. That's about it until the end of the summer when everything comes
Yeah,
out.
but there's probably a third of the pier slots that aren't full yet. They're rented out, but
Right.
nobody's in them.
Right, and well, we do have to help coordinate and make sure that people know what their slip is, but we have the placards that are. Keyed onto them.
You're right, but there's a lot of people that's still tied to the piers, bounce off the piers.
But here's, we didn't do the loggers anymore, but I got. on that.
And we end up like 25.
I think Donnie wanted.
Yeah.
Can't you, put in a part-time employee, but put in the job description, it's unpaid. And make it legal that he's the county employee, if that's tracing in one of the board.
I don't mind that if it's unpaid, because we have several volunteers that have signed paperwork and have gotten part off of their boat slips, and they don't get paid, so they still volunteer, they're not on payroll, but
Are you okay with that?
I'm not looking to go on the payroll.
He's just looking to get some teeth behind his.
I think, I mean, in order to be a part-time employee, you have to go through the whole hiring.
yeah, you have to go do the drug test and the paperwork and all of that, but you're out. You say you're out?
Okay, but I mean, I'm, like I said.
And I can tell you, I want somebody to take over the harbor master stuff. I did it for 3 years and I don't really.
You know, I'm gonna sit out there and babysit my life right there, but I go out there probably at least 4 times a week and sometimes several times a day. She gets a call, boards are cracked, I have to run out there. Tracy.
Then I have to do it, so he's.
Tracy finds the boards, I take them over to home and cut them to size, rip them to size.
So we need a motion to make you an unpaid.
I just need
employee
authorization to tell people.
Authorization to act as. The
Representative of the board.
Well, I think that if we're gonna do that, which I don't disagree with, I mean, I don't wanna go out there and dump that cold water and hammer boards. I mean, could you imagine me doing that? I'd probably throw them down and say, figure it out yourself or something, but. I know there's a memorandum of understanding that Justin had prepared for somebody.
For this
That's an
very same
volunteer.
situation, right here it is.
I don't know if it's germane to this or not, but. I don't know, I'd have to look.
It's in lieu of boat slip payment.
Volunteers in lieu of boat slip payments. So what we have.
And
to
you
do
all
is-
approved that last meeting.
But I would feel, if we're gonna do that, where we're gonna, in lieu of payment, we're gonna give him. Money off of his boat slip. He needs to have a job description that that will dictate what he can do and what he can't do. And I agree, he should have the teeth to be able to, and this process would do that. But here's the other thing I'm a little concerned about. I think there needs to be a little more financial control over who gets boat slips. And who gets camper sites, which we don't currently have. That's one thing.
Which I was gonna bring that up as well, because they just said that, as we do with other people, and I'm not sure.
And many other people.
Right.
there's 4 total.
What I personally, I think we need to have policy on that. Because he's got 1.5 is what I was told, right? Slips?
Yes,
1.5 slips. So does he get a half a slip? Does he get a full slip? Or does she get a whole campsite, but not or a half a camp? You know what? How do we determine that? There needs to be a policy on, I'm not saying,
Yeah, the way I did it on that paper I showed you, I used it as an example. If based on our $15 an hour wage, he's got a slip and a half, which is $1,050. That means for the season, he has to give us 70
Well,
hours.
what I'm saying is this isn't cutting it for me. We have to financially control that. Some fashion. So to me, if we're going to give free payments, we need to have a policy dedicated to. How we give that out, and the insurance company may be able to help us or maybe Justin
Yeah.
is separate from this, and then there needs to be some kind of agreement that they sign. So, which is this, I guess that thing.
That's what the last paragraph was just for you to discuss, because it was.
It's like a job description.
Yeah,
So,
but the last paragraph would be an example of
well,
how,
this thing here, this portion here would be in a policy on how how
the compensation would be.
how the compensation is calculated
Okay.
for people that volunteer. So, that way we're not exchanging salary dollars for them, because, you know, I do a lot of things for free too, because it's a big hassle to have to be an employee. What, you want me to be somewhere by what time? I don't think so, buddy. I'll do it when I feel like it, so,
Well, and that's what I think that's what volunteers, the difference between a volunteer.
Well, I think you guys passed that other one
Exactly.
last
You
meeting.
do it on there.
So we can't change it. Well, they passed that one.
That memorandum.
Well, yes,
understanding.
but
You want something you want something in addition.
I need to see maybe I'm not explaining it very well, but I need to see a policy that says. This is how we give free campsites or free boats.
So she has,
They have to be a volunteer, they have to, you know, work the X number, they gotta have a job description, they've gotta sign a memorandum of understanding or whatever. Because they gotta be covered by the insurance too.
Right.
Yes, and that's
Responsible for anything.
But those things need to come to the board then, and the board decides.
Right.
Who gets a free boat slip or who gets a free campsite. Not you, and not that I think that that's wrong, but that's a board decision.
well, I use the
You bring them to us and we'll decide.
form for the camp host that has always been in place, and she signed that for her site.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just,
Doesn't always get-
I don't wanna, you know, I don't wanna be, I'm not saying that I see you're looking like, oh my God, she's.
I'd rather pay for my campsite, trust me.
You probably get more money if you got paid, right?
Absolutely, because I keep track of my hours and what I do.
Yes, but.
Yeah.
There needs to be some more control on it, and I know what you do. I remember when I was on the board before, I know you work very, very hard. But there needs to be better control. On this as well as other things. This is not the only thing I think there needs to be better control on, but that's my 50 cents or my.
You also consider this protection towards you guys too,
Yes,
that not everybody's just coming up there and asking, well, you did it for them, you did it for them. And
Offered, nobody,
I understand, but then.
but I thought that's why we had Justin draw that up.
I understand, but then it's the board's decision to approve it. You can make contact and work it out with them. And then just have the board's approval. That way it's nothing back on you.
Yeah,
So you guys approved that last month.
yeah, we approved this.
Right.
I think
So-
what we need to do,
Do we need to get those signed and bring them back?
yeah, if you want somebody like Gary to do this.
And he has one, I just
Yeah,
haven't seen him yet to get it signed.
well, yeah, fill it all out. Like it says, volunteers shall receive a peer slip in exchange for, I assume that's how much we're gonna charge, discount it or whatever, right?
Yes.
paid for work, I assume X number of, minimum of X number of hours or so, I don't know.
Like this is his. I just haven't ran into him. That's Gary's.
Too.
Of how, what you guys approved last month, then I filled it out and they will, the volunteer will sign it.
And I haven't seen that.
And that's,
Well, I don't think this is built out
No.
correctly.
well, that's what Justin gave us when we
Well,
asked him to draw something.
Volunteers shall receive a peer slip in exchange for $525. Well,
Well,
that's
doesn't
like
it say
we're
worth
renting
it?
them.
It should have said worth.
It's
doesn't
just
So many
say-
volunteer hours. So what you're looking for here though is kind of control and then.
Yes,
Parents.
yes,
Yep.
yes, yes,
That's
yes,
partly I
yes.
put the example on the bottom paragraph of the job
I'm telling you,
description.
this-
Maybe we could use that formula in those other, in that memorandum of understanding.
Yeah.
Come up with something you all agree on as a formula for that,
Yeah.
and then be consistent with it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yes,
I think
this
we
doesn't need to be on these this is a job description, potential job description.
That was basically just for us to discuss.
Well, yes, for discussion, but on here, then this would be on the policy on how you determine who gets a free slip or
And how the
whatever.
formula is for,
And I'm all in favor of, getting money off the peer slips and things like that. 'Cause that's worked well in the past.
Yes,
We've done-
yes,
we've
yes.
done
I
that.
don't wanna change that.
If it's saying if it's above that, then that's. then
Can
you're-
I ask another question there? By having him on the county's payroll,
None of them can be.
what I'm asking, are we covering him if something happens to him? Or would it behoove us to have him on there so that if there's an
No, no,
incident?
I think you
Or
can
should you-
cover volunteers, can't you, Don?
Well-
I'm pretty sure as long as you specify who your volunteers are and that they're working under your jurisdiction, then the insurance company covers them.
It's like a regular job.
Yes,
So I was,
yes, yes, I verified that with Rachel, but
I think.
that's my
I think
recollection.
We need to designate what the benefit is, what the reduction is. And then set a minimum number of hours, but he's not limited to that. He can work as many hours as he wants. But at least we have a minimum number of hours
That have covered what we've gifted.
and then
Right.
approved by the board. So, like if you wanna let Gary do that, you would fill out that thing, bring it to us and we would approve it.
Yes,
yeah, and remember, if somebody comes in and asks the questions and say, how many folks do you have in this kind of a position? We got that right at
No, no.
our fingertips and say, this is how it is, and
Yes.
be transparent.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes.
Are we clear on all that?
Well, I also want to, because I've also heard it said something about, and that was the example that was given to me, that they wanted to pay her after she exceeded this formula for her hours that she worked. Well, that makes her a part-time employee, and that is a position that has to be approved by the county council, and there has to be a job description for it, and they got to put her on the payroll.
She's already on payroll.
She's on the payroll.
She got on payroll a year ago.
And the county council approved that job
Yep.
description or that position? So there, how many?
She's been on payroll.
Okay,
So you're already a part-time employee.
Yes.
Yeah, she's already. That's why she can use the mower and all that too. I mean, was
well,
one
you
of
can
the,
use what?
our mowers and equipment.
Well, he should be able to too, is what I'm saying.
You get out of the water.
But see, it's getting a little jumbled up then, because the board doesn't quite get that, she's getting paid and she's getting a volunteer spot.
Well, we can change that for next year. She can just pay for her spot, which is what she wanted to do this year. I just thought this is the way it was done in the past.
This is,
So I just thought maybe it would save us some money than paying out to give her her rent. Once that's due, then she can get paid. That's how Randy used to do it.
That's how,
I don't know any different. If next year we want to change, she will be more than glad to pay for her spot, and then we can just pay her as a part-time employee. It doesn't, either way,
Well,
whichever's right.
yeah, and I don't mean to upset you. I'm not trying to upset you. I think you're very, very valuable in the spot that I do. But as a board member, there needs to be some control and a lot more transparency on, because I'm not aware of some of these things, just like Tom was saying, so.
That's exactly the problem right there, is that we have to be accountable to somebody that comes in and says. Well, you give his buddy something and you give his buddy something, I want something. We need a paper trail, no matter what it comes in, somebody walks in off the street and says. I saw this guy doing something, and said, well, yeah, here he is. He's supposed to be there.
Or if that person gets hurt or whatever, yeah.
Nobody can come back and say, well, what's this guy doing? We have total control over compensation. We just, everybody, if it's above board, nobody's hiding anything, anybody can come see it.
Not to stir this up even more, but, so you said there were 4 people, right? Currently doing
Yes.
volunteer work,
Yeah.
but Bob is the only one who is a part-time paid employee, or are there? Who's the?
Other than the gate people, no.
So who are the other volunteers then?
Her husband, Al Randall down the road. And then Jack Compagna that put all the stone, gravel, all of that kind of stuff in.
Okay,
That's the 4.
okay.
But they're not getting anything.
Nope.
For that, though.
No, I
that's-
think Jack donated the stone
Stone,
too.
right.
Stone, sand, and.
Jack got his spear slip.
Right. So I,
Everyone got half
from my standpoint as a board member, I'd be is the most concerned for the positions that are kind of a dual, where you're a volunteer and you're starting to get paid, which is great, and I think it's been fine, worked the way it's been working.
And why not?
But we just
To
need to
give
be
every
transparent, we
single
just need to know
person
what it
that
is.
pounded a nail.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
That
I'm
is-
just saying for the ones that you do, there needs to be a better
Right.
system. So we're documenting that and approval by the board. That's all I'm saying.
So then really, there's only two volunteers that get money off of slips or campground, and that's Gary and Bob's, right? Is there anybody?
Gary, Al Randall and Albert,
Okay.
And that's how you.
but you said besides that. No,
Camper?
no, Al Randall's not.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I thought you said how many others besides Gary?
Folks are getting money off of something that the board provides.
4 total.
Okay.
What's out there, Mo?
Al Randall?
Yeah.
Anything,
He's a camper?
he's all, no, he was not, he was all part of all of this.
Slip
He has a slip hole.
He's a slip holder, so he got half off.
That's fine.
All right, so one thing, and I was gonna wait till
All of the volunteer stuff.
any other business, but I guess that would probably be a pretty good time to do it. What is the seasonal camper rate?
2,800.
What about campers?
What do you mean?
Well, you got a category here for campers,
That's weekend campers,
okay?
That's either
$50 a night, holidays are 55.
or 28.5 for tent sites,
Okay, and boat slips?
700 or 600 if you're a camper.
And isn't there something you pay early too, or no? No, not that one.
That was before my time. It
Okay.
stopped the year I started.
So one thing that. Dick, do you know how many campsites are rented by seasonal campers?
No.
Kathy, do you know how many boat slips are rented?
No.
Sam, do you know any of those? And I don't either. So what I'm suggesting is maybe we have a report that shows the number of boat slips, the number of campsites, who's in them, the status of where they are payment wise, what's open, what's traded, any of that. That way the board has knowledge of that
We
because
can do that on seasonal, not weekend, but
I understand that.
But it hasn't been totally.
The boat slip.
That's the
Yeah,
boat
you
slip
are.
list that I
Good secretary.
We have talked about.
Upset with you at all.
Yeah, we have talked about this at previous meetings, we may not have passed around this list, but it's been, I think, clear and mentioned in previous meetings that there's 98 boat slips on the 3 piers.
And I think there's 2.
And there's 2 before that.
5 tops, I'll put it that way.
We have 2 open slips now.
So if we do something like Gary's put together here,
Well, no, that was put together. by-
okay, and whoever put it together, that's exactly what I'd like to see.
Yeah,
That way, more transparency
yeah.
and everybody.
like seasonal campers is all on the computer, so I just have to print it out, all the payments.
When you do the monthly report, can you attach that to it?
Yeah, come July, they'll all be paid and then it'll be done,
Okay,
you know,
but that's fine. I'd just like to see that each month as we get our board.
and as far as the other stuff. That's what this is, you know, you can tell weekend campers and gate fees.
And that's
and
fine.
stuff
I'm
like
good with
that.
that. I'm good with that.
Now, wouldn't she just have to basically give you new news on that? Because once they're paid beginning of the year, there's no change.
Then you're done.
I understand.
For the vacancy.
But I need to add how much they've paid on that list for you.
Right, I understand, but if it's on an Excel spreadsheet, it remains, you just go in and update and send the same thing. And it has a date on it, so. I think that'd be something that's beneficial to the board to know and to cover you guys as well.
Spreadsheet
Absolutely.
each month.
Well, and like I said, I can just include what each one is paid, keeping in mind this year, we used a lot of credits, so. Our revenue next year is gonna be considerably higher because there are no more credits.
Just
Yep.
print out the boat slip payment sheet.
Yeah, and even more so a good reason to have that because of the credits we gave out this year. That way we've got a paper trail on all that.
Cause it
so.
says credit.
Yeah, we're bringing it. We gave all our credits last year, but this year we're,
Finish them off.
yeah, we
Yeah.
finished most of that up. That's right. The revenue has increased as
Yeah.
much as, that's why we looked at that for the budget.
Okay, no, I think that'd be.
So it would
perfect,
just
Gary.
basically be on the seasonal campers and boat slips.
Yeah.
And then I can, you know, I usually update this and bring it every time. To show you our daily of what's
That's
coming
perfect.
in.
Okay. So I guess we're at the superintendent's report.
Did you guys decide to table the harbor master, just so I can put this in my notes? You were gonna ask for a motion to table that,
Well,
or what have you decided?
well, I thought we decided this. You're gonna have that filled out and signed, you're gonna bring it to us and we'll approve it.
for
Okay.
Gary.
For,
This,
for the unpaid.
Well, it looks like she's got one filled out for him.
I have them all in here. I've only got, it ran into one person that has signed.
Told me that.
But he hasn't signed it.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh,
I thought there was-
you might wanna read it. You I haven't seen it.
So the,
Justin just got those to us
Did
like
you
a
also
few days
see
ago.
they got a, like a job description kind of thing? for
Is that
you?
what we worked on?
Yes,
Yeah, then I had.
but for the harbor master position, the unpaid position, it doesn't go beyond the slip and costs.
Right.
It doesn't go above that.
and that's where we originally agreed for Gary to receive half off of his slip. When I look at the responsibility and the hours worked, I think it warrants. Like Jack Patton got a full slip. I think that the hours that he's devoted to this. The responsibility he has to show to the voters, to you, the board, and just maintaining our docks, it's worth the full slip amount.
Well,
He's
that-
already paid his half for
He
this
should
year.
be able to then, like next year, you should be able to draft up the bid package, so to speak, for putting in the piers, correct?
I will assist with that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. It's really, that's what I'm trying to say. It's really been a 3-4 person job.
Well, I have not been
Gary-
involved in that before.
I know, but Gary and I and Angelina and Tracy have all gotten together to do a lot of that work to get the, because to tell you the truth, the first couple of years, there wasn't a whole lot of bidding going out. And it was just
Right.
whoever was available to do it, we did it.
Right.
So it's gotten more formal over the years, which is a good
Learned every
thing.
year.
Yeah, which is a good thing. So we're improving the process each year, so.
So I don't know if, you're gonna change this next year, this year, what, but. There are other volunteers that do a whole lot too, so we're gonna have to decide who
Aside from the
gets.
4 you're talking about?
No.
Oh.
But she's saying he needs full off, this one needs half off, blah, 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 so
Right.
we can decide
That's
that. I
right.
don't know if you wanna do.
That's right. Because otherwise it becomes very arbitrary.
Right. So,
And
yeah,
as Sam said, it becomes too big of a sticky wicket for favoritism.
so are we gonna just do it for this year since we've
We
got the
need a
papers?
policy. I think we need a policy.
and then
We
get
can
the
use
policy
those things,
together.
but we still need a policy. I think so. That's my opinion. I mean.
Yep.
Everybody's.
Yeah, I think
Well, and I think you almost kind of need a policy for each position, so if it's a part-time
Right,
position, it's the
yes.
camp host is one.
Yes.
But
and
she's
that's-
already- she was getting that way.
Yeah, that's different.
So is she a paid employee or does she get a free site?
She gets a free site until she works those hours.
And
off.
then she gets paid.
That's how it was done in the
So-
past. If somebody, she's just gonna pay it.
It's free.
I know you've done a lot. I mean, I cannot
To,
complain at all about.
to not run into this
your
again next year,
commitment
she'll just pay him
to
and
the
just pay
camera, and
her.
you do a
and-
lot.
It'll be a lot of money, but whatever. I mean, either way, it doesn't matter.
I can just say,
I-
my personal experience, camp hosts have always gotten their lot rent free. I've been a camp host. That's very typical in a camp environment.
Do you get paid as well?
If you exceed the number of hours agreed upon for your length of stay and the hours that you work, absolutely, why shouldn't you? You know what I mean? It'd be like working all those hours after your
I don't
2800
think she
is.
work for free. I'm not.
No, I know, I'm
I'm
just
just
saying
saying
that.
that. I know she's very upset and it feels like I'm saying, I'm not, honest to God.
Kathy, the one example I'm trying to use, if you take her 2,800 divided by $15 an hour, which is the current pay, the hours that she puts in, she's probably gonna end up making like $5 an hour. You know, at some point you have to say, wait, we're not being fair to her.
Well, the difference between a paid employee and a volunteer getting a free campsite is really pretty big because you've got to pay social security, you've got to pay all kinds of stuff for them that you don't necessarily, that you're not paying for a volunteer, so.
That's why we thought it would to benefit the board. and the
Well, I'm
park board.
I do think it's a benefit to the park board and I think it's a benefit to the person. I'm just saying that there needs to be a policy on how it is determined and the board needs to approve it. That's all I'm saying.
And she's
all
also,
just writing the policy. How do you want us to go about getting that policy established?
Well,
I mean, I think we need to do that as well.
And it sounds like we only have 2 positions where this falls in the
right,
practicality. The host is one, and then the harbor master is the other. Buzz is the only one where she's actually a part-time employee, she's kind of full. Gary's not asking to be both, right? So we need to maybe have Justin, have our attorney, draw something up. He's been
Yeah, I'd rather
getting-
you do it.
He gets a retainer for, we pay every
Yeah,
month, so maybe we just to him, to draw those two positions up and make it clear.
She is
Is that
also
gonna be
offered,
considered a policy? Have Justin do the policy? I mean,
Yes.
okay, I'll make sure we get a hold of him.
Bev has also offered if it's gonna be such a headache and she'll take her hours off of her rent right now and pay her rent.
Well, let's not try to change it.
I'm just saying, she doesn't want to make anybody upset where they walk out,
No, I don't need,
you know,
here's what I
and
think.
it's just getting,
If she works enough to work off her rent, then after that, she should get paid.
that's how it was done in the past.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's,
That or at all.
We just want that in writing. We want to clarify.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Justin can write that up in a way, I think that will satisfy.
That'll
the
make
board.
sense.
I'll email him
Yes,
tomorrow.
I'm sure you can.
There's samples. I mean, if you've been that before, I'm sure you signed something, or these other campgrounds that you've been to, they probably have something. Why reinvent the wheel?
She
Contact,
has signed a host agreement. It just doesn't say if after she has used her rent
Okay.
hours,
what I'm saying,
she gets
for the
paid.
policy, all you gotta do is contact one of these other places that do that.
So I
Get a copy of it.
what I would suggest is, Justin probably wrote up that original one, or maybe
He
someone did, right? And he can just add an addendum onto that covers the part-time part of it. That'd be my suggestion.
Yes, but I want to say one more time, so it's clear, I am not challenging anybody's position, anybody's volunteer, anybody's hours, anybody's payment. That has not, nor the quality of their work. Nor their reputation or anything else. Alls I'm saying is that there needs to be a policy on how it is done, and the board needs to approve. Those who are getting free rents.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm
So
saying.
we understand where we'd be without their help, you know?
Well, yeah, I
And
mean,
I think it's not good formulate that we're looking for here. But with that,
You know, I have to remember is we're government, we're answerable to taxpayers and state board of accounts and all that garbage and the county council and the commissioners, and we're answerable to all those people, and we have to be careful that we're doing things the right way.
And unless, like Kathy, unless you guys guide me anyway. I'm doing what was done in the past because I know,
well, I
So
I hate to, this is the second meeting I've come to,
Well-
there it is, I mean, it's stirring up a people.
No, I think the very valid, and I think we should do a better job to present these things to the board. And, you've heard me say time and again, hey, board, can you make a motion to pass this? So I can say the board said. We're better off just you doing that.
know those things,
Okay. Superintendent's report?
Let me do the dog fences real fast before the superintendent.
Sure,
report.
let's do the dog fence.
So last year, there was 2 or 3 people that came to a meeting. One individual had a dog fence, and I think we know there was issues last year, blah, blah, blah. The board kind of jumped the gun and took these 3 people's side and said no dog fences. So I think Dick said later on, let's reevaluate next year and see about these dog fences. Well, we're gonna reevaluate and talk about the dog fences
and you're talking about in the campground.
in the campground, the seasonal campers,
There's no dogs on the beach, correct?
Correct.
on the sand beach.
On
No,
the sand part,
we have
Oh,
signs
right
up
on
there.
there.
on the grass.
I thought I saw.
So these dog fences, and I took a picture, I don't know if you wanna see it or not, there is one camper out there that has it, it's a new camper. And we decided we were gonna discuss it tonight. And I would have a decision tomorrow. They're like 2.5, 3 feet. They're all sculptured, sections. Say this is their camper, they go out around their camper. Their dogs are in there tethered or whatever. They're not allowed to go to the beach and leave their dogs barking, go inside, sleep, dogs barking, anything like that. Another thing that was brought up, the one people were using it for their grandkids, they have little toddlers. Keeping them, from running in the road, this, that, and the other. So this past weekend, I went around to individual campers that were there. There was probably 25 or 30. That all said they did not matter either way. They were for it, or there was only 2 that said negative.
And you're talking about fences where they're attending. I mean, there's, the folks are there.
Oh, yeah.
And they're,
No, there was,
it's not unattended.
I think that
this is what it looks like.
Mr. Ballard, you came out last year and saw a couple of the fences after you all had decided to not allow them.
Yeah.
You said it.
And you, at that point,
They
thought that they
nice.
were not as bad as you had.
Right.
They're not gonna be chicken wire and, we're not gonna, they will be approved by,
The fences I saw, I didn't think were offensive.
They're decorative.
They were decorative. And the other issue. I personally like dogs. I have a dog.
That's good.
I like dogs. But I know there are some people that have a problem with barking dogs and that sort of thing. As long as these people take care of their dogs and they don't become a problem for other campers.
well, so the thing is, these people all have dogs whether they have fences or not. So they still have their dogs and we're not having a barking issue right now, so.
I mean, I don't have.
It's just to contain them a little bit more, But we said last year we would reevaluate and maybe we could, and we will go around and make sure that they're, properly done in the nice fences.
Is there a certain diameter you're looking for?
Well,
Fence would be
within their property, their line, but
within their lot.
no higher than 3 feet, which, that's not very.
Was there a policy before?
6. No.
No.
There wasn't, and then the fences came up, the fences became an issue, and the board decided last year to disallow any of those outdoor fence structures.
So
And it was said
there
we would
probably needs to be a policy put in place
reevaluate.
as far as type of fencing.
Right,
Where it
the
can be.
stipulations of barking and unattended and,
Right.
I would, my suggestion would be put something together and then bring it back to the board. I'm not opposed to it. But I'd like to see parameters and stuff.
I would generally support that too, I think.
Yeah.
As long as the.
so they need to wait another month to put their dog fences up.
Well,
Can you pass it contingent upon a policy, and then if you don't like the policy, unpass it?
Well, the only problem with that is
Once it's done, it's done.
it's done, right? I mean,
I would suggest that any fence be put with a regulation of like 2 to 3 feet inside their property, so it doesn't come to the edge of the property. Just because if somebody walking on the edge of theirs and this dog's over here just have to have a bad day, or a little kid reaches over there.
what was the tallest fence that you had out there? 3 foot?
I wouldn't allow them to be over 3.
No, those ones that the folks who want them that are talking about. What are they
I-
talking about?
I don't
How big
know.
were your fences?
I was about to say,
Yours?
At 3 feet.
About 3 feet?
Yeah.
That
maybe
would
have
be-
more.
46 to 42 was a good size.
Well, the policy could be as simple as no higher than 3 feet and no,
And stay, give your property.
6 feet from the road, 5 feet from the road. That way that people walking by, their fence would be 5 feet back from the road.
Probably needs to be more than just a description of a fence in there, though. I would think.
Well, it would be like no barking, unattended, stuff like that.
Well, I think I have to agree with Carl. There needs to be a policy for us to approve. Cause like Dick said, if you say temporarily approve it, but oh, no, we change our mind, that's a problem. So,
Is that something else you can pull from another campground? A policy on that?
I'm sure we could.
That would expedite things for you?
But we said we're gonna have
Have
to
a
take
meeting for
another
another
meeting.
month.
I understand, but Dick, is that something that they could email us on? We could take a vote pending on?
I don't know why we couldn't.
That's a good idea. Okay.
Do that.
I can do that.
Yeah, we can vote in bids,
You want to do that or me to do?
I can do it.
individual properties, one at a time.
as they come up.
As they come up, if we-
Right.
and then.
then we'd have to ratify it at the meeting.
Then
Right.
ratify it. Yeah, I think we can do that,
Okay.
okay? All right,
Does that work for you guys? I'm assuming you guys are the ones that Current question?
They're one of them.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's going to be a lot that will do it, maybe 5 or 6 max.
Well, until you allow it, then you might have. a bunch of them.
You know, one has a little bitty dog and they put out a little playpen, you know, so if we decide no. There's a lot of decorative fences out there in people's properties and they would have to go. It would be, if there's no dog fences, there's no fences, period.
Yeah, the one that you sent in the picture is, I mean, I think it looks
And
great
that's
out there.
what theirs looks like. It was brand new
Yeah.
and they had to take it down last year, so.
Send them,
Like I said, it helps keep the little ones, you know,
send them to us one at a time and. You know,
what?
The request,
people that want,
the request funds.
Oh,
and let us know if they meet your approval.
Right.
So we'll know, okay?
yes.
We'll vote on them individually, I guess, then ratify them at the next meeting. We ready for the superintendent's report now?
So just a few pretty much updates, we did talk about the picnic tables already, so I'll cross that off. Bev said there were supposed to be 5 more coming. We had the forest event, it was that last week, June 5th. It was so. I don't really know, we had a good turnout in the morning, there was probably, without the workers and speakers, maybe 8 people that came for the hikes and stuff. They did have to cut it a little short due to the rain. It was a bad day, weather-wise, but they did get in the first one and everything. I think the biggest issue, you know, we had a lot of crafts and different things for the kids to do and stuff like that. I think the biggest issue is having it in the middle of the week. I know that's when Bruce wants it because he wants it on the day. But, you know, we would love to pull kids into this event, but kids have to have parents that bring them to these events and parents have to work. You know, so maybe something we can talk about in the future, you know, with him, and I guess in 2 or 3 years, it'll be on a Saturday, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, other than that, it turned out all right, but you know, you go to a lot of work and a lot of expense on the food and everything and
Yep.
you know, don't have a lot of turnout, but it was all right. And then the afternoon hike, it did rain pretty good, so they barely got that in. It was the only day of the whole week it rained and every other day was beautiful. We did hire 2 employees for the gate at the beach. An 18-year-old and a 16-year-old. They're doing very well. They are part-time employees. They went through all the screening and all of that. I know at the last meeting, we basically didn't have anybody. It was gonna be her and I. And then Memorial Day weekend, things just fell into place, you know. And it we've had a really slow start to the gate due to the weather. Memorial Day was really bad. We couldn't even open basically Sunday and Monday. Monday, we were in coats and shoes and it was bad. We didn't even open. We had one decent day, and ever since then, it's either rained on the weekend. So this past weekend on Sunday, it was gorgeous with 100-mile-an-hour wind. Well, the dirt and sand, everything was blowing so much you couldn't even, you know, there were no boaters out or anything. There just wasn't, but we had a great Saturday. So this weekend looks really good. I think that the 2 of them will work out. We do have the cash register system now, running the credit cards, getting kayaks out. One is working Thursday, one is working Friday. They're both working Saturday and Sunday, but they are kind of staggered. Like one comes in early, leaves early. The second one comes in a couple hours later and stays later. So that there's 2 during the, say, 11 to 4 shift, the busy part. When they're not there, the one that comes in early, as soon as the second one comes in, the first one goes out with a bucket and a grabber and they pick up garbage. That's, you know, blown along the fence and everything, so seems to be working pretty well.
I thought at the last meeting I had asked if you were hiring any more and you said, no, you didn't need them.
We said,
At that time, we had Rachel's daughter, who then after that meeting,
that's exactly what happened, because
she
was
decided she
do it
didn't
all.
want to do it. And so we at that point thought we were covered. Then we got blessed with 2 people that were ready to come to work and it's worked out.
The stone on the driveway has been delivered. It was delivered a while ago, like right before Memorial Day, I think. It's had been underwater and then the one day it did dry out, Jack came to do it and he got one load done and his loader broke, so waiting on that. The county has not been out to blacktop the drives yet, both sides,
Done blacktop,
just the entrances,
okay.
blacktop
Blacktop or chip seal?
blacktop. And I think Brock said they got their, I don't know, what is it,
Today and quit again.
blacktopper or so, whatever they use,
Quit again today.
so I know Rachel had originally said early summer, you know, so. They're really, really bad, but. In another sense, they're good speed bumps. Going in and out, you know. We did see, today was a beautiful picture perfect day. I went by and was out there and. The first grill of the season has gotten used. I mean, it hasn't even been nice enough for anybody to. Grill out or anything, you know, the weather's just been. Not on our side, but it looks like it's gonna be on our side this weekend. In the 90s.
It's gonna be hot.
We did get some tent signs, just little. 6x6 signs put on like painted fence posts are blue color. Stuck them in the ground, so all the tent sites are now numbered, you know, somebody comes in and. You're on number 2, you know. So those all got put up this weekend. That's about it, just waiting for good weather.
Anybody any questions about that report?
The new well working well, I hope.
Yeah.
Good.
No issues.
Any motion to-
I would make a motion, we accept the superintendent report as presented.
There a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we're down to the financial report. Do I have any comments or questions about that?
Yeah, I got a couple, I think, here.
Okay.
On pier rentals. The majority of them say park department, but there are some that say Tracy or Angelina. Is that them giving you money and then you guys turning it in?
No, everything we get goes straight to it's gotta be just how the auditor's office is putting it in there. We don't have anything to do with that.
Maybe it's the ones making the deposit. Usually we sign the deposit, the quietest report, so
Okay,
could that be?
Could be, yeah, everything, we give them a sheet and I have to sign it at the bottom saying what I'm depositing and maybe some of them, this would be the auditor's department does that. I don't have anything to do with that.
okay.
But then you look at the ledger and make sure that the amount that it tracks, right?
Yeah. Cause we've got a couple of things before
Okay.
that weren't ours,
My printer don't work.
but everybody's human.
You have a good relationship with the county in terms of the highway department. I'm talking about coming and fixing stuff for you, doing work for you. You just gotta pay them, right?
Well, this was part of, I think Rachel said they were gonna do this on their own because it was part of that other deal from last year. Just those 2 entrances,
What deal from last year?
when the roads got paved out there,
Oh,
they didn't come all the way up,
The job didn't get finished.
So it's just the apron, basically?
pretty much,
Yeah, inside, we go inside.
Okay,
just by the
but
gatehouse
if
and
we
the
have
guardhouse.
something there, like we need stone or something, we can buy it from the highway for your cost, correct? We
Yeah,
just
as long
gotta,
as they talk to Rachel and get it all, you know, stone, and they gotta pay a little bit for the truck.
Sure.
It's
Okay.
not-
I think we pay like the hourly
Yeah.
wage, they said,
it's
or
nothing like-
So I do have a question. Back into the financials, there was a check for a vendor that was not the county for stone. Who to my knowledge, doesn't normally, that's not his normal business.
That was a refund that was given for a camper that had a family emergency that couldn't come, and there really isn't a place to put a refund of something like that,
It
so.
was a stone, it said for Larry Mann's.
Oh, that wasn't the camper then that you were talking about.
No, and I wonder why we'd be getting stone from Larry Mann's for anything when we can get it from the.
Well, because this was needed to be done like in a couple of days. We had campers coming in and their places, it was some of the old campers that moved out. And when it dried up, we had stone put in.
Did you
and
get
it-
quotes? Or did you? just
No,
call
I
Larry?
was told I didn't need quotes over until it was over $2,000.
I would have called the highway department because I have a feeling it would have been a lot cheaper.
Well, we can do that in the future, but it just, sometimes, we just need it right away.
I would say if it's an emergency, then that should probably be authorized by the president and as long as we're talking about transparency and accountability. That's one of the things that needs to be addressed, I think, is if it's an emergency like that, and you can't get it from the county, then you need to get the president to say, yeah, it's an emergency, go ahead and do that, and then report that at the next meeting.
Right, and that's fine if the board wants to do that, but that's different than what we've told Tracy and.
Yes, it is, and it's in the minutes that-
So I have a problem with changing it, but that, she was following board direction.
No, I understand. But what I'm thinking is if we've got resources available to us, especially if it saves us money, that's probably not a bad way to look at it.
Yeah,
But there's always emergencies, so.
Yep.
well, yeah, and that's true, and as commissioners, we had to have a meeting to declare it an emergency. And to do that, so you can't just spend.
I don't
money
know,
without.
I don't know that the highway department, and maybe you can answer this. They're our county highway, they're not really out for hire, so when I call them and say, can you do this tomorrow? Will they stop everything to help me?
No.
So,
And then, I mean, it's worth the call.
right, if
They
they say they're a week or two out, then,
Then you'll, because Brock or Rachel, we always.
Right.
They know what's going on.
right,
You
right.
might be able to pull one driver off, you might not.
Cause I was told in the past, we can help you out here and there, but don't expect us to be your, you know what I mean, your
Right.
contractor.
Yeah.
And I was told that, like with the electricity too, the maintenance guy here helped us out once.
Yeah.
And he has another job, he's not for hire for the campground,
Right. But we're always trying to.
Right.
Well, we might as well keep batting 1,000 here. One other thing that I think needs to be addressed is the daily deposits of money. Every department in the county deposits their money every single day. Cash, and they've got a process, and you've got a process. I saw your process. I like that process. Where you would specify peer rental, blah, 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 and here and there and there, but that has to be deposited daily. And if you don't have any income for that day, then you don't have to make a deposit, but you need to make a notation that there was no cash or no checks coming in for that day. Even on the weekend, you have to do that. The treasurer has a lockbox that you can put it in.
So you want me to come to town every Saturday and Sunday?
You have to. I mean, that is, I'm surprised that.
Because it'll be at like 7:00 at night.
So I'm surprised you've gotten away with it this long where you haven't had to do that. And I'm not trying to give you a hard time, but was the State Board of Accounts out there last fall?
Not last fall, the fall before.
Yeah, the only thing I remember them bringing to our attention was to go ahead and get more automated with making the deposits and having the cash register there so that you can draw up the whole bill of everything.
You still have
At the
to
end of the day.
deposit the money am I wrong, Donnie?
You're right.
But deposit it where? Where would?
There is a box right outside this door here.
So that
There's a
entails,
treasurer where you
No
go.
one ever told us,
no,
but since I've been out here that we had to do.
once you get done at 6:37 at night, you count all the money, you have to go into your computer, do all of that paperwork. Then come to town and drop the money, so now you've worked till 8 or 9.
That policy, I'd have to ask Rachel for sure.
I will too, because it's freedom.
Rachel said it has to be deposited every day.
She's ours, you know.
Even on the weekend, she said, and she's the one that said it can go into the box out there for the treasurer's box.
I guess.
And really, there should be two signatures signing off on that. Saying like you two need to count it together or whatever, and then both put your signatures down there. That there needs to be better controls is what I'm saying. We're gonna get written up if we haven't already been written up for that.
Well, and that's where the controls came in as far as the cash register and that kind of
Yes.
thing. You get it
And that
automated.
helps, but you know, I
So
don't
you
know
can
that
leave it
that's
every
a
night, too.
sufficient control, number one. And number two, I also think that the board ought to do a quarterly review of those books. You know, as a final measure to make sure that they're correct. And that there's, you know, no question about the money.
But we do get the ledger sent to us every month, right? So what more than?
What ledger are you talking? Are you talking about this?
This one, yes.
Yes, I get this every month.
And that shows the receipts coming in, and that shows the checks going out, right?
Yes.
So we can peruse that. Are you looking for, what more than that? I'm just trying to understand it.
I'm looking for the ledgers that she's got there at the lake, that she handwrites everything in, to make sure her books match with these books, basically.
Okay, so what you're saying is you want back about the number that's going
Yes.
into here.
Mhm.
We've never had with that.
Well, now that we have the cash register slips, it shows gate 1, remember I showed you that? Did I show you that? Gate
Yes,
1,
you-
gate 2 kayak.
It shows, you know, break down in more detail where the funds are coming.
Yeah, and then it needs, and then that, what she has there, she's got a black ledger there that she uses. Then that needs to coincide with this.
Right. Like this
Is what I'm
does,
saying. Like, so I'm saying that two board members need to sit down and look at her records. And go through this and make sure that they match. That her books say the same thing that this says.
like this matches this at all times, because I check it all the time.
What's the feasibility of going credit card, debit card for everything?
Well,
Most of your other places are doing it. There's not a sporting event around anymore that takes cash. They're all-
There's airports that refuse to pay cash too now.
that's up to you guys, but it, you know, I hate to say that,
And how you couldn't do it with that one.
I understand.
We definitely have to have better equipment.
I think you'd lose a lot of business, but
I don't know. I think if you talk to people, the majority of them.
that's you guys' decision. I mean.
I understand.
Yeah, I guess as far as the deposits every day, I'd like to get something from, from her in writing saying, why haven't we been called on this before? You know, I'd like to understand that a little.
That's
better
gonna be a lot.
Than just to say, okay, let's do it that way now, but I'd like to understand it better, that's all. Because we've never been called on it before,
Right.
that I know of. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't do it, I'm just saying that I don't, they never, the auditors never brought that up to us. They said we have to get the better receipts and show more detail on where the money's coming in from each time. And that they have, the receipts have to match up with the deposits, but never did I hear that we had to deposit every day, other than.
Well,
We're not having a problem every day, but Saturday and Sunday is gonna be near
well,
impossible.
on Saturday, those are your busiest days, I am presuming. And so you have a large stack of cash.
With a nighttime Dropbox.
And carrying it around and putting it in your house or hiding it under your pillow or something isn't a good way to handle that kind of money.
What do we currently do with it, Tracy? The weekend money.
I take it to my house and deposit it Monday morning. You know, I talked to the state parks and they have a safe, they put it in a safe and have a security guy come get it. Well, I could put it in, have a safe and put it in a safe, but I am the security guy that would come and get it. I don't know what that would fix.
I know, and I don't know, Donnie, maybe you can answer this, but I know a lot of places, city park, police department comes down nightly and locks all the restrooms and stuff like that. Is that something potentially a county officer could pick up the bag at the end of the day and drop off?
Honestly, I don't know if they want to do the responsibility,
Okay.
then they're gonna do the paperwork with Tracy.
Gotcha.
All that.
If they had a call and nobody's available, you're waiting.
True, that's true.
I don't know, if I really doubt if even the safety work. I would say this got locked up there, and mainly like I said, because the state working capital. And we've talked to them this year, right, so more and more,
Are they coming in this year?
yeah. I don't know if they'll go each place, but we've actually already talked to them sometimes. And that's what it is, not picking them, but it's just things get tired.
Right, and then Tracy's been doing what we've been saying to do all along, so it's not like she's done anything
Right.
wrong.
No, we're not saying she's done anything wrong.
Either.
No,
I don't wanna work every weekend till 9, 10 o'clock at night doing that either.
Right.
You know, when you've worked an entire day at the beach.
Hmm.
That just ruins your whole life. I mean. I don't know what the answer is.
well, maybe it's something that we can,
Maybe we can take turns or something.
Well, we do that already from on the 8 or 9 hour shift without including that.
maybe we can check and see if there's some alternative
Right.
options. We'll see.
Yeah, I would say, rather than say we've never done it that way before, it's too hard on me. I would rather hear, well, let me think about what we can do.
Right.
Rather than it just.
We
won't
can
work,
talk
I
it
can't do
over.
Or I don't want to do it, or it's too hard on me.
Definitely taking the money home is a no-no, I know.
Yeah,
But well, should
I
we,
understand.
you know, leave it at there to let it get stolen? I mean, I think it's,
Hey, I'd rather it get stolen there than at my house.
Yeah.
yeah, me too, yeah, yeah.
We'll come up with some
yeah,
options.
we'll just have to,
Think about that.
maybe Rachel has an
I got
idea.
one more idea when we get to the. That's gonna. That might be able to help you with that, so.
All right. Paying of claims and routine bills, is there any discussion?
You need to. Financial report,
I think that's what we just did.
but they didn't vote on that. Make a
Oh,
motion.
motion to accept the financial
Financials.
report.
I'll make a motion, we accept the claim.
And is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any other business?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Money in the budget. Is there anything specifically put in for more new aluminum piers?
No, we did talk about that a little bit though, when we met for our budget meetings that you guys authorized us to meet and figure out what areas we wanted to increase for increasing the budget request for next year.
Yes.
So we did look at that. Right now, we're just kind of keeping up with the repairs, so.
Well, we don't have to repair them if we put new in.
Oh, yeah, but.
And I know it's expensive.
No, but you can't not repair the ones that are on the water now. So
Right.
the way we looked at it was, our first step in that process would be to allocate money in the budget for those types of things, and that's repair and maintenance and.
So we did, we upped the repair and maintenance and equipment.
Yes.
Right.
By how much?
It's in your, it's in your.
I think it was.
Right.
Now, that's not go by, that's not go pay the money.
Well, yeah, but the only thing is we. Until you guys tell us if we're wrong, the way we looked at it is the money that we expect to actually come in.
Yeah.
Is what we want to make sure that we're allocating for, because we can't allocate for money that we don't have, right?
And then we expect it, we
Right,
make
so-
that money and collect that money.
If we don't get any other additional tax dollars from this county, other than the grant that they, generously approved for us, but there isn't anything other than the receipts that are going into it, and that's why they spent a lot of time estimating what the receipts would be. So, and we wanted to be able to increase the budget
But
in those, and by the receipts in those areas. And once we start seeing if that actually worked then we can start planning for.
Well, I know one of the things that somebody had talked to me about, actually a couple people, on the pier rental price.
Oh, the pier slip for
The
the.
pier slips is way lower than anybody else around here.
That's true, but we can't do that till next year, which will be for 26 budget.
Okay. And why is that?
Well, we can't raise it now because they're already in, so.
Twenty-five.
We raise it for 25.
Well, then shouldn't it be in the 25 budget somewhere? Income
It's
should be
not.
in there as well.
It's not this year.
And we did talk about that. And the reason why we didn't is because we didn't know how the board would want to do that.
Well,
So which is another reason that it'd be good to wait another month to submit the final budget, or if we need to make any changes or corrections. Because we did talk about the possibility of needing to increase that.
Yeah.
But we didn't want to presume that we should just say, raise it $100 or whatever it was gonna be without the board having a discussion. about that.
and part of the other part of that too is that this is really the first clean year we've had.
Yes.
Without having to give credits or getting in late, so we wanted to kind of have that good experience for this year. And see how it goes, because we had made that decision, in January or whatever to increase it for this year, so.
Well, I think we can do that in this year. And just say what's gonna be for next year, and I think we could even put that on the agenda for next month if you're ready to further it.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but even these areas that we said we wanted an increase in budget, that still doesn't prevent us. For next season, looking at the rate and see if we want to increase it, right? If we're not really changing the budget, we're just increasing the rate.
It gives us a better understanding on increases on some of this stuff, though.
No, well, yeah, but if it gives us some time to think about it between now and then, we don't, because when we increased the campsites, I don't think we adjusted the budget, we just increased the campsites.
Right, but,
Well, we did this year,
Right. But
I mean, for next year,
right,
because the money came in now.
now, right.
But
But when
that's,
we did that increase, we didn't adjust this year's budget.
No,
when the budget gets approved, that's what the council appropriates out of that money.
Right.
So once that's appropriated, if you go back to them next year and say, gosh, we made more money, so we wanna spend more money, we wanna buy these piers, then you have to get an additional appropriation. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And they usually don't like to do that. So it would be better if we could calculate that on this year's budget and put it into our budget for next year. Then we don't have to go back for an additional appropriation. We might go for a transfer somewhere,
Yeah.
but
Right, and how much have we spent on work this year, so far, just on the boards?
You have to ask Tracy,
I'd have to look up for sure, maybe
43, what you buy, maybe 70 boards this year?
300-400.
Yeah, so it's not a huge sum just to keep the piers in place, until we can get to a point where we can afford the new piers.
I got something for you, two things, first of all. Are you set on aluminum? Because, Boa Shores does their wood piers, and they don't have problems with them, and you save a ton of money. I mean, those two sections of aluminum you got out there now cost $30,000. And that's only not even a quarter of what you need. So, I mean, would you be considered of looking at the wood piers instead of the aluminum? I mean, you could change them all a lot faster. Second of all, as a boater out there, you wanna raise my rates, it's fine, but I wanna see where the money's going. The campground raised their rates. They got a new pump station, they got this and that. The piers that we have at the beach are really bad. And that's why people don't complain of, the price is cheap, but I think it's on par with Boa Shores too. I know. What do you call it? Portside is expensive. He's got all new piers, brand new piers. And he is expensive. That's all there is to say about it. He's priced like Culver piers are. You don't have Culver people on Bass Lake.
sure.
There isn't that many pier slips there either, and I don't know.
No,
I mean, he's starting to, yeah.
he said he put in 20 this year, see how it goes. I mean, people here raised heck last year when you guys talked about boat lifts. Now, if you're talking about jacking the piers way up, there's gonna be a lot of complaints.
Well, and to tell you the truth, most of the damage is on the wood sections because the boats, we don't have anything
touching the aluminum.
And the side, nothing's touching the aluminum.
One or four, I mean, period, that's it.
Yeah, but not, I mean, it's,
So the nice thing about that.
the front of the boats are in the wood.
First of all, if you bought new wood piers right now, those piers would all last longer than any of us here. Because you buy treated wood, you take care of them, they're new. Those piers out there are 17 years old. You know, you're putting screws in wood that, you
The
know,
biggest cost out there is the hardware in
the
the.
hardware for doing it, you know, and you have the hardware. All you need is somebody to make you pier sections or some place to make them for you. And the other good thing about it is if you damage wood piers, they're cheap to fix. You damage a couple aluminum sections, and it's gonna cost you a ton of money.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, you know, people have been asking me about rates going up. I think if they see rates going up, they wanna see something for it. They want better piers.
And better piers is aluminum piers?
Well,
Potentially.
potentially.
Right, but new wood, you're saying new wood would be a better buy than.
I think,
Doris,
well,
this is
my
my,
hand flapping over there.
this is
The
just.
way I understand this is both shores has an agreement with their installer that they have certain sections that are new, each, they wrote their.
Yeah.
And it's all with new wood. It's like a maintenance program. And I think if we look at a
Yeah,
maintenance,
so many years, you can replace the whole pier.
we can maintain
You can
them.
do a quarter of them this year, so in 4 years, you're done. And the way I understand it is, he can tell them when he's got bad sections and he can replace them. And you can check the price of somebody making them or just the lumber. I think you're gonna save a ton of money over aluminum.
My thought is on the first look at aluminum for the board should be the very south pier, just the section going out, just like the two north ones are now. The walkways going out, that should be our first look at, how many sections do we have there, how much would it cost them?
Give them the aluminum.
Going out, that's right, so we're all the same.
And I think you guys would be
And you want to do the damage.
to do wood for the rest. You can ask Les, you can ask Steve. But this is my opinion only. You can save a lot of money and I think they would last longer than any of us here.
So now that we have like two harbor masters, sort of. What are we looking for that? Yeah, so why can't they recommend to us what should be done with those piers? And what would justify an increase and if so, how much should the increase be or whatever?
And will it cover the cost of
Right, right,
fixing or
right.
whatever?
Improving those, upgrading those piers and
Yeah,
improving.
I think we need to raise it just to raise it. I think we need to raise it to.
I agree with that.
Agree to pay for all damages that their boat causes. That's their responsibility.
Right.
But
And I don't have any problem with Gary and I and Tracy getting together and coming up with that proposal for further down the road here, but.
Well, then we might take a look at that for next month. Cause if we're gonna increase the rates, then for next year, in order to be able to accommodate.
Because it'll be the following year, we can have to make the
Yes,
improvements to
yeah,
it.
because you got a lot of repairs coming up.
Sure.
Just putting Band-Aids on stuff.
Yeah.
You know, just to get by with it.
Yes.
So you have to decide how to do this as fast as you can,
Yes.
now that you have some money to spend.
Well, you guys are the experts as well.
If you guys show that you're doing something.
If you all agree, I would say that at least for the aluminum section, we look at the south pier, how many sections that, for the walkout, how many sections that is, and that's what we can consider.
What is the
for next
perspective?
year.
How much is the perspective
Cost
cost?
of that, just that
And
one.
then maybe you could do some wood ones too,
Sure, just,
with the aluminum, depending on the cost.
Yeah, if I want to mix them, but. Well, we could say this is for how many sections, this is what it would cost or a
Yeah,
proposal.
yeah.
you two figure that out and
You know, talk to Les and Steve and any of the other pier guys, because there's been a few new pier guys around the lake this year, putting
Yeah.
piers in.
Yeah.
Nobody's making them.
Yeah, but sorry, I know.
You'd have to call them and ask them.
Right,
You know,
we're purchasing.
The piers are at Harbor House. I've heard he paid $50,000 for those. Somebody come up and bought them for like 25 cents on the dollar.
Why did we do that? Oh my God.
Well, because nobody knows. How did you have the money to put out that?
No,
I don't know.
I don't go to the county.
Yeah. Well, I would say that we look at, because I think am I correct that Larry's, I think, provided the aluminum?
Yeah.
We got it from Larry's,
Yeah.
so we should get a bid from him and bid from whoever else, yeah,
And maybe get a bid from somebody who wants.
Woodside or whoever, yeah.
You know. You know, technically, if you give the guy, depending on how you work being government, this and that. A guy can go in his pole barn during the winter, all he's gonna do is start in March and April, and he can build you a bunch of wooden sections.
That's actually what,
I don't know if you can work with a private person doing that, or it has to be a corporation. to cover
that's
it.
actually what Reynolds does every year. They consider how many new sections they're gonna make.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's
why,
all right.
you're turning over all the time,
Okay.
and the people will be happy because they are seeing that you're doing something.
The only other thing that I had, Dick, on,
Yeah.
any other business was, I know like county commissioners oversee certain departments. I think it might not be a bad idea for board members to oversee different areas within the park. You know, somebody be over, the boat launch,
Or the
piers and stuff. Somebody to assist and not be over, I'm not saying that. Work with like a committee, you know, one person from each board to be on each different area, like policy, grants, other parks, stuff like that. It makes your job a lot easier. You've got other people that are willing to help. You can get board perspective while you're putting something together. So that's just my thoughts.
I like that, Don.
Well, I would say since, the harbor master guys have to come up with their proposal, maybe you come up with yours on what the areas.
No, you're the harbor master.
Yeah. Not just that, I'm not talking about.
That's more than that was in a bathtub, so that's.
Yeah.
You give me a motorcycle, snowmobile and stuff like that.
See, you want us to volunteer for, and then we'll look at it, I think.
It doesn't matter. I mean, I think if we maybe, and it's not something that has to be done tonight, but if we come up with some things that you guys really need help with, like policy writing. I can write policies, I can work on grants. I'd be willing to be on a group with you guys to help with that. Kathy's great with financials. I think she'd be good with that. Tom obviously is good with the peers and stuff like that. So just some examples.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
You get two sons at once, you're the harbor master and you'd be.
For more.
More stripes in your sleeve. Okay. Anything else? Anyone?
Did you guys make a motion for paying of claims and routine bills? I don't.
I'll make a motion to pay the claims.
Pay the claims, yes, we did.
I think.
No, you said for the financial report, you didn't want for
Okay.
paying the claims.
I don't know if we approved the
There's a
financial.
motion for paying the claims and routine bills.
Kathy did.
I'll make that.
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
Oh, well, then I'll second it.
oh, all in favor? Aye. Alright. Is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second?
We like Stan.
Is there a motion